reacting to other people sharing their business and their information online of how they manage their money, where they live at, and why they do what they do, so that we can compare and contrast and make an informed decision as to whether or not we would do it ourselves. All right. So, in addition to hitting a like for the YouTube algorithm, I would suggest you guys go and get your Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. I'm going to be linking up with y'all in New York, and then the next city right after that, I'm probably going to come to DC, right? Make sure that you guys continue to hold each other down, and then share this with your family and friends. Let's go ahead and get into this. This is, I think her name is Sung Woo. Let me double check to make sure I got her name right. I don't want her out here in these streets looking stupid. This is a Asian woman that's living in Santa Monica and is spending $1,600 a month for a place that is less than 200 square feet. I want to know what y'all doing. Let's hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Living in a tiny home has really helped me be more present. There's no room for excess or unnecessary.
Hold on. That bed was small, man. Did y'all see that little box that she was sleeping in? Hold on, let me rewind that. Look at that. It's giving claustrophobic. It's giving prison. It's giving, how did you get that bed into that space in the first place without scratching the walls, man? I have not seen this video. Somebody, as y'all already know, sent this to me. I'm not sleeping in that. I'm not sleeping in that. No way, no how. Nope. But I'm going to play the video a little bit. We're going to break it down. Y'all wanted me to be triggered on this, huh?
There's no room for excess or unnecessary objects. Everything is very curated, very intentional. My name is Sung Yu. I'm 40 years
Her name is Sung Yu.
Old, and
she's 40 years old. She's kind of cute, too.
I live in a tiny house in Santa.
Oh, no. You see how big that house is? That's where the house is, y'all. Look. Before we get into this, let me tell you this. Let me tell you what's about to happen in society. I've recently, and I haven't even shared this with the bag chasers yet, but I'm going to tell y'all why. I've recently bought a pretty decent size piece of land. I've been buying up plots and land, and I'm learning and going through the process of understanding how to build out a lot of this stuff and establishing the relationships, because I don't know what I don't know. So I'm building my first home now, my first rental property. I'm building it from the ground up. A lot of y'all are familiar with it. I give y'all an update occasionally on not on Facebook, on Instagram, on my stories and stuff like that. But I've been slowly but surely acquiring land, and then recently I've bought like a pretty decent sized piece of land. And one of the reasons that I think that this is going to happen, I shouldn't even be sharing this with y'all. Well, I'm not going to go into details, but I think that most people, the traditional single family home is going away. It's completely going away. The traditional single family home and neighborhoods as we know it is completely going away. So I am moving towards a completely different strategy that hasn't been implemented by individual investors at scale. And so everybody has got the same real estate strategy, but I got something completely different coming for the Patreon members that I'm working on. So this is a long-term project that I'm implementing and something that I'm getting into, and y'all gonna be excited because I think that y'all gonna want to be a part of that. Make sure you join the Patreon. Link is in the description. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get on the Discord this weekend, either tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna start talking about it on the Discord before I even talk about it and break it down in the video, because I got another video that I'm dropping this weekend about it. But I have something that I'm doing at scale that I think that y'all could possibly implement too, because the way in which we live, work, and play, even in the Midwest and some of these places with a lot of spaces, is going to change dramatically forever. And there's different reasons why that's happening, including property taxes and all of that other type of stuff. But yeah, man, this is, when I see stuff like that, like this right here, it confirms what I'm going to be teaching y'all in the Patreon coming up next. So again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. As Riel says, single family homes aren't going anywhere. Okay. When you watch the video that I drop in the Patreon, I want you to have that same sentiment, keep that same energy, Azriel. See, my people love disagreeing with me. We have debates, fight. We part of a network. We gon' figure it out. But I have a theory that I'm going to be investing in, and I think it's going to be completely different from what you think. But let me continue to play this video.
Monica, California, and I pay $1,600 per month. Welcome to my tiny house in Santa Monica, California. I'm a designer and entrepreneur, and I have a children's toy brand called Big Little Universe.
So she makes over $170,000 a year, but she lives in a tiny home in Santa Monica. She makes over 170 bands a year. This is what she's saying. And she lives in a tiny home in a bed that's placed in a space that's claustrophobic.
Before living in the tiny house, I lived in New York City for over 18 years. I was paying $4,500 a month for an apartment. So I initially...
She was in New York City. She was paying $4,500 a month for an apartment. She was paying Now, keep in mind, she's going in two of the most expensive states in the entire United States. She went from New York over to California. But her lifestyle changed, and so her budget changed. And so it's not that she found something cheaper, is that she's having a completely different culture in which she's immersed in. Let's continue.
Moved to California with a partner. That relationship did not work out. And so after that time, I had two places.
She moved to California for a man's.
One in New York and one in California. It was pretty quickly where I decided it was time to get grounded again with my own values. So
she cute as hell, but she a flatback. Hey, fellas, before we get into this video, let me ask y'all a question. Can y'all rock with flatbacks? Is it more important for her to have body yaddy yaddy, or is it just the face? Because it's a lot of girls with good face, but as long as she keep her, her weight down or whatever, a lot of guys can rock with flatbacks. But it's a lot of guys that can't rock with flatbacks. Let me know what y'all think in the chat.
So I made the tiny house my primary residence.
All this music.
I was actually in Rome and I found this space on Hot Pads and thought it was a scam. I hadn't seen anything like it. The photos were posted. It was also very hard to decipher. They had a phone number on there, so I actually ended up calling it, and someone did pick up. And the interview process was also extremely intense. It was more intense than a regular apartment building. I asked for a...
Look how small that place is, yo. And they vetting people, which means that they have a long line of people that want to be a part of what it is that they rent, and they throw that tiny home in their backyard, and now she paying a little less than $20,000 a year for this place.
Video interview to be able to see the space. But even then, I was like, it could not be there. This could all be AI for all I know. So I had someone come and check that the space actually existed. Living in Santa Monica has a lot of benefits. I love being close to the ocean. Being able to go on hikes and have access to the outdoors has been really amazing.
So a lot of times, well, let me read this. A studio apartment, which is basically the same thing as a fucking tiny home, in Santa Monica is renting a studio. That means you just get a box. Usually your kitchen is inside of your bedroom. Your bathroom is right there next to it, or you may have a communal space for a bathroom. But a studio apartment, no bedrooms, no extras. Laundry is very difficult to come by, and all of that is going for $2,200 a month in Santa Monica. And people are signing up for it. And you know why? Because they're learning to live with less. They're figuring out that they can become minimalist, and they're more concerned with being around the area that they want to be in more than they're concerned with the space. It's the trade-off. The question that y'all need to be asking yourself is, could you do it? Don't say what you would want to do. Ask me, could you do it?
Living in a tiny house has not only provided my own space, but I'm easily saving a few $1,000s a month, which has been extremely beneficial as well.
The reason why she says she saves over $2,000 a month from living in a tiny house is because the only way you can justify that is if you start looking at it from a comparison perspective. If you start looking at, so you will start saying, well, this is what I was paying in New York. Or if I lived in this area and I had a regular house, and I would be paying X amount. So that's how you justify it in your mind, right? It's kind of like a gambler's mentality, but it's not. And the way that a gambler a lot of times think is, let's say you go to the casino and you lose $1,000, right? Then you start justifying it in your mind and you're saying, well, I would have just spent $1,000 on shopping anyway, so I'm straight. And that's how you start to justify why you're doing what you're doing when you're doing it. But the reality is that it's all comparative, right? It's all relative. It's based off of what your lifestyle is. It's based off of what you're used to, what you normally would do. And then you take all of that data internally, and then you start to justify as to why it is that you're paying that amount and why you live in a 200 square foot studio tiny house.
There's only been a couple small aspects that I've added to the house, which are small accessories and wall-mounted hooks. Otherwise, it's pretty much exactly how...
That is a box with no basement that you can literally throw. You get a permit, you can throw that shit up in less than a month, probably for less than 20 bands. You can build that for less than $20,000 as long as you got the land to be able to do it. It's a box. Ain't even no drywall in there. It's literally just a box.
How it came.
Look at that box. Box. That's it. In between garages. With a fence up.
The style is very minimal and designed to be energy efficient as well as sustainably built. The house does not require any heat or AC, so I don't have any heating or cooling, but the temperature...
You can do that shit for less than... It don't have no AC. It's no heating. It's no cooling. It's just a bunch of fucking outlets in that bitch. It's in between two garages with a fence on it. No heating and cooling, and then it's the same thing that people do on their jobs. You'd be like, oh yeah, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a sanitation engineer. No, you're a janitor. I'm a sanitation engineer. No, listen. Ain't nothing wrong with being a janitor. I come in, I clean the toilets, I take out the trash. It's no such thing. And so they use these terms and they say, well, it's very minimalist and it's eco-friendly. That's what they do. It's minimalist. It's eco-friendly. It uses a lot of natural light. When I see that type of shit on Airbnb, I just be like, skip. Talk to me about no minimalistic, eco-friendly, natural light shit. I don't want to know about that shit. Give me something that I'm used to. I want that big bed because I lay down that big pipe. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do.
Temperature is regulated by concrete panels, which is water resistant, weatherproof, and extremely durable. I do use a small portable heater in the winter if it is colder weather. I think the most difficult part about moving into a tiny house, there's very limited storage. So having very intentional objects that you've selected that are functional as well as high quality has been a really amazing cure.
Functional, high quality, minimalistic, basic, eco-friendly, natural light. These are all terms for poor, in my opinion. It's all terms for I want to be in the area, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. So I'm going to make the sacrifice and I'm going to bring in this fucking space heater because I don't have any kind of real air circulating through this. They threw up a box. They got a permit and that's the fucking truth. It just is what it is, yo.
Curation process. You know, narrowing down like technology was pretty simple. I felt like going through different objects or tools was also pretty simple because you come to realize you really don't need that many things. There is literally a container that I have under my sink that I spent at least a couple months looking for because I needed something to be a specific size and material. I think patience is going to be one thing that could be tested living in a tiny house. I think that the main misconception of living in a small space is that it's not possible, but I think it's one of the most amazing gifts and experiences that I've had.
Yo, when the lemons is right next to the plastic bags, might be time to go to a different state, yo. When the lemons are the same size as the plastic bags, or I'm sorry, right next to the plastic bags and the utensils, and you moving the lemons out of the way in order to get a pen, it's time to make some adjustments, man. For me, that's just for me personally. I know a lot of y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. For me, if the lemons is next to the pens and the pencils, if I got to move this out of the way in order to get in order to get to this, then we got a problem, yo, for real.
When you walk in, this is the main area, which is my work area as well as living room. You see my open closet.
It's not a closet. Those are racks, ma'am. I got those same things in my studio for when I need to switch out hookups when I'm ready to record a new episode because I'm trying to get ahead. That is not a We're very sustainable, so we repurposed the pipes that they removed from the house that's lead, and we turned them into racks for our clothes. We recycle, and we're trying to be eco-friendly.
I guess you could also say it's a walk-in closet. I spend majority of my day sitting right in this space with my laptop, and this is where majority of my work is done. I'm pretty particular about how I curate my wardrobe because I have so little space. Everything has a versatility or a...
Hey, look at this. Look at this triggered person. Bro, what's the positive side of the reaction? I'm tired of the damn negative. Then get the fuck out, bitch. And don't ban him, y'all. Moderators, don't ban bad. Look, the nigga said what's the positive side, but his name is Bad News VA 757. You dumb motherfucker. Who you talking to? Your whole existence, your name is a walking contradiction. Your name is Bad News VA 757, and you talking about you want the positive side. Kiss the positive side of my black ass. How about that? Don't ban him. Let him breathe.
A purpose. The position of the home and the amount of natural light in this house is what really helps the space feel a lot larger than it really is. The kitchen area is where majority of
that's not a kitchen.
Storage is. I love tools and I love high quality tools, so I have different types of scissors that I've collected throughout the years because it's just a great tool to have.
So collecting scissors. I'm sorry, she's not a hoe. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. You are not a hoe. You are a woman that operates with a minimalistic view, looking to get in an eco-friendly Oh, Jesus. This chick collects scissors, yo. And measuring tape.
I cook pretty much every day. This particular tiny house did not have a full kitchen. How I've solved for that is with a double burner that sits outside of the home. It functions extremely well.
I know what Newport News is. I know exactly what Newport News is. Ain't nobody thinking about that.
And is...
We don't do nicknames.
Completely sufficient to be able to cook. I think that the process of cooking is actually simplified because I need to be extremely efficient about how I prep ingredients. I'm also very aware of exactly what ingredients and how much are left over in my fridge. So in terms of guests, maximum, I've had 2 people stay in the outdoor space, but indoors I've only had 1 guest at a time. To the right of the kitchen is my bathroom, also very minimal and has open storage.
I'm surprised they ain't got plumbing. They even got plumbing in there. And you can see ain't no step up. You got to keep the sheet up in order to get the water. The water is going to be hitting the toilet. This is bad. I ain't rocking with this.
Which allows for more space. The bathroom sink face is one of my favorite features in the house. It's made of a recycled rubber. To the left of the living room and kitchen is my bedroom. The bedroom is my sanctuary. It's wonderful, and it's a full-size bed. The plywood that surrounds the bed creates this really serene and warm environment.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Yo, seriously. That place, honestly, my honest opinion, making an assessment right now. That place, if you got into an argument with her, if she get into an argument with a black man and he's a pookie, a nigga might come over and kick her house down. You probably can kick her house down. Shut the fuck up before I kick your bedroom down. It creates a serene environment. Shut the fuck up before I kick over your bedroom.
The light in the room is the main light that's completely adjustable to many different settings, which is also a very comfortable and soothing experience. The position of the bedroom allows me to sleep north, which is really great feng shui.
And she gets to sleep north, y'all. That's one of the benefits. She gets to sleep feng shui north.
I have no regrets about moving into a tiny house. What I was seeking was to feel grounded and to feel completely okay on my own. I think that's what really helped that transition not feel so jarring or difficult. There were definitely challenges, but realigning with what my values really were and what is like most significant in my life was what helped that transition.
She ain't gonna know no better until she get with a man and he be like, come on over my crib. Then she got listen. This is how she gonna have a reality check. So she's gotten used to this, right? And then she talked to a man, and let's say she get her a high value man, right? Because flatbacks always get high value men. And let's say she get with a high value man, and then he invite her over to the crib, and he got that big crib. He got multiple different bedrooms. They can spread out and watch Netflix. They actually got a TV, whereas you can't even have a TV in this place. And it ain't then that it's gonna hit her. It's gonna hit her when she got to go home. When she got to go home and she got to go back into that 2x4, into that jail cell, and then she going to hear her neighbor pull up in their car, and she going to ask him to cut their car off so that the carbon monoxide don't go over into her jail cell, that's when it's going to hit her, and that's when she going to have a different lifestyle change.
I think for those who are curious about tiny house living, the first thing I would do is to observe and take a look at your belongings and what really has meaning in your life and what is just a nice to have. I would start there and start to evaluate how you could potentially transition into a tiny house. I've thought a lot about designing tiny homes, so my longer term plans is to build a tiny house community.
Anyways, enough of this.